Hello everyone, welcome you all to the Manage Engine Applications Manager. In this video, we are going to discuss like what are all the settings available in the Applications Manager, especially for the administrator user. So, so previously in the older versions, you can see the tab name called admin. So from the latest version, you can see instead of admin, we have renamed as settings tab. So once you just click on the settings tab, you can view all the necessary settings and it is categorized into the respective categories here. So under the product settings, we have the add-on settings where you can just integrate the third-party integrations like Prometheus, ServiceNow, Slack, Alarms One. So all the third-party direct integration will be shown here. So in case if you want to integrate any of these third-party integration, you can just select and integrate those add-ons in the applications manager. And in the enterprise edition settings, in case if you're using the enterprise setup, so for admin and the managed server, we have this enterprise edition option where you can just make the changes to view the admin server status, or in case if you want to send the alarms from admin instead of the managed server. So those settings will be available under the enterprise edition settings. And in the global settings, the overall UI, right? For example, in case if you want to view the intro tab as soon as you log in, you can enable that option. Likewise, for the ADDM discovery, you want to enable PowerShell mode for discovering, or if you want to create a differentive view. So those all the global options that are needed will be available under this global settings. And in the login, um, so based on the category, for example, in case for any of the troubleshooting purpose to check whether the polling is happening or not, or what are the data that we are fetching, so you can just click on print all logs so that all the necessary information will be collected. And once you just enable this print all logs, so all the necessary information will be collected, and you need to make sure like whenever you for any troubleshooting purpose only, you need to enable this option. Apart from that, you can just choose any of these three options, whether print fatal error or print warning or print detailed debug errors. So in case if you just enable this print all logs, the log size will grow rapidly. So once the debug is completed, you can just change the status and save it from here. And for sending the actions, for delivering the emails or SMS for any kind of the alerts, all the mail server and the SMS server settings will be available under this mail and SMS server settings. So in case if you have configured the mail server and you want to update the host name or anything, you can just click on mail server and perform the same. And in case if you are having a SMS server, you can change it here. Or in case if you are using the SMS gateway for sending the SMS, you can just select those SMS gateway providers here. Or else if there are like by default, we are supporting 3. In case if you are using any other SMS gateway provider, you can just click on custom and give all those details for sending the SMS. And in the personalized web client, in case if you want to change the view on the UI, for example, like instead of black and white, you want to just change the view to blue or green. So those kind of user level settings can be changed for personalizing your web client under the personalized web client settings. And you can just customize the tab here as well. So in case if you don't want to view the user experience tab or the monitors tab, so you can just select and remove those. And so by default, when you just log in, you have a certain background. In case if you want to change as per your company logo or a company image, you can just upload the image directly from here. And also, in case if you want to view the footer session, or for any of the user you want to hide, remember password. So those kind of option can be enabled or disabled directly from here. And in the privacy settings, so if there are any modules that are enabled for example, ticketing in a ServiceNow, or syncing the CAs in a CMDB, Slack integration. So those kind of security information can be viewed here. And in the product license, so when in case if you are renewed the license, or if you're just applying a fresh license, so you can just apply the license from here. So under the settings, under product settings, click on product license, and you can just upload the license here, so that the license will be automatically applied here. Or in case if the applications manager installed on a particular server and that too require a proxy to connect through, so you can just you can also just use a proxy server for connecting the applications manager or to the target host. And in the security settings, all the security level information. For example, in case if you're using the third-party SSL certificate, then you can just click on configure and add the SSL certificate here for security purpose. And also, we have the TLS. If you want to disable the TLS version 1 or 1.1, so you can just disable the disable option will be has been given here. And in case when the report settings, especially when you're just scheduling a report or if you're just sending a report to your end users or to the higher management and you want to just protect that particular report. So we have the data protection here as well. So when you just click on configure, you can just have the password for the reports as well, so that you can just secure your report and you can just send it to the respective users. And in the server settings, in the general settings tab, you can view the general settings like the cleanup period or the in case if the particular you're just creating a widget and you want to create a subgroup view for a particular monitor group. So all those information is given on this general settings tab. And in the availability settings tab, in case if a particular server is down, so like you want to just check that particular status for every polling. So in that case, you can just enable this ping response so that if a particular server is down, for every 5 minutes, it will just check the ping status and send the response to you. So in some cases, for security reasons, your organization has have a security policy that ping should not be enabled on a server. So in that case, we can just enable the port test so that instead of performing the ICMP, we can do a port test and check the connectivity, and you can add the monitors here. And in some cases, in case of the ping is enabled and if you want to just retry, for example, if there is any network glitch or if they're using any server which is outside the network and it will be taking time. So instead of making a one retry of a ping, you can just change it to 2 or 3 as per the requirement so that it will reduce the false alarm in case the server is outside the firewall or it is in a different data center. And in the thread configuration, you can view all the threads that are used by the applications manager based on the respective monitor type. So in case if you're having like around a 40 to 50 Windows server and the thread is around 10, you can just increase the thread maximum of 30 to 40 so that during the data collection, it will use the exact thread that have been defined here. And in the database configuration, so this is the backend database configuration where by default it will be the number of connection will be 10, so no need to change this. And in the JVM param information, you can view the normal heap and the min-max and the min-max heap memory here. And in the monitor group settings, so for example, in a monitor group, you're associating a monitor. So whereas you have added the process and the service monitoring in the Windows servers, and you want to add those service individually, either the service or process individually to the particular monitor group, you can just enable those options here. Either the process service as a databases. In MS SQL, there are several databases can be monitored within a single host, right? So you can just have the separate view and you can just add it to a monitor group. You can just enable the settings under the monitor group settings. And in the high availability settings, so here recently we are supporting the virtual IP concept here as well. So you can just give the virtual IP and the host name here. And in case if the load balance is getting changed from one host to another host, so no need to worry about here. So you can just give the retry count so that meanwhile that particular server startup, it will make a retry and it will make this establish the connection with the help of this virtual IP as a failover. And in the user management tab, you can just create the users based on the number of license you have purchased for the users. So by default, admin user will be there for in the applications manager. You cannot change the username of this. So it will be a static one, but you can just change the email ID or the password for this default admin user. So you can also just create a new user individually here, or else in case if you're using the AD or LDAP in your organization, you can just add the respective domain here and onboard the respective groups, and you can just give the required privileges, whether they want to operator role or you want to just have a user's role around for a selective monitor group. You can just give those permission, and in the permissions tab, you can view here by default that for administrator user, you can just allow or deny these permission. And for the delegated admin as well, you have those, and for the operator users. So based on this, you can just restrict the user for performing any operation. And in the views tab, you can view whether you can just assure the monitor group directly in the home tab, or you can just show the subgroup alone based on the level monitor group levels of the parent monitor group. You can select the view here, and in the account policy, you can just give the policy setup here, whether in case if the user is giving a wrong password attempt, so you can just give a 3 or 4, so that if that particular function goes beyond that, the account will get blocked. So those kind of restriction can be performed here, and also the password rules. So we need to make sure that the password contains alphanumerical characters along with a special character. You can just define those permission here. And in case if you're using a two-factor authentication, you can just enable the two-factor authentication here. And also we are just supporting the SAML-based authentication here as well. So in the user management tab, you can use all those information for restricting the users. And now when it comes to the tools under the settings, we have the audit log, the first one. So here you can just verify the operations that users are performing. So based on the time period, based on the respective user, you can view all the operations, starting from adding a monitor, deleting a monitor, configuring alarms, or configure a threshold profile, delete a threshold profile, or in case the user is performing any actions like manually executing any email action or execute program action, all the front-end operation that done by any of the user, including admin, will be automatically captured under this audit logs. So you can just generate the audit logs based on the respective one and generate it as a report here as well. And in the backup schedule, so instead of taking a manual backup, applications manager gives the functionality to schedule the backup automatically, either a weekly or a monthly backup. And also you can just clean the old backup files based on the number of cleanup which are defined here. And when it comes to the managed certificates, in case if you want to use your default SL certificate in the applications manager, you can just import those certificates here. And also here you can just generate a CSR, or else you can just directly import the certificates. And you can the list certificates, you can view all the certificates that have been imported into the applications manager. And in the recent versions, we are just given the option self-help tools. So this particular self-help tools will be useful for debugging any of the operations, especially for the WMI mode of monitoring here. So just imagine you have a Windows server in which the CPU data is not being collected, and you want to verify whether is this the issue with the applications manager or the target machine. So here you can just choose especially to the respective Windows host and select the monitor type. So these are all the list of monitor types currently we are supporting under self-help tools. You can just select that particular server and you can view all the metrics. In case if the metric is not being here, you can just select the metric here. Or else if you know the query that by which the data is being collected, you can just give the namespace and enter the query, okay, and click on execute. So once you just clicked on execute, what it will do up from the applications manager, it will try to establish a connection with the target Windows machine and try to execute all the selected WMI classes or the attributes here and try to fetch the information. With the help of this, you can just verify whether data is being collected or fetched from the remote machine or not. And in the self monitoring, so you can monitor the applications manager server, the memory usage or the ID usage, disk usage, or in case if the polling is not happening for a particular monitor due to any thread, or if it is taking more time to fetch the information. So all those information like polling delay, whether the polling stops for a particular monitor, in case in your server the port usage is high, or in case you just migrated the applications manager from one machine to another machine, and in the new machine if the system requirement is very low, instead of 16 GB of RAM, it has only 8 GB of RAM, and the applications manager is struggling to perform its operation. So by default it will capture all the diagnostic and it will just throw the alerts to you so that you can just verify those and take the necessary action. And in shutdown or restart service, in case if you want to restart or shut down the applications manager for any of the maintenance, so instead of logging to the app manager machine and start the service or stop the service, sorry, shut down or restart the service, you can perform it directly from here. And in the support tab, you have like various function. In case in the self support, we are just given all the troubleshooting tips, or in case if you want to just download the upgrade files, you can just click on the download service pack, so that it will take you to the applications manager website where you can see the latest stable build information, and you can just upgrade to those to that version. And you can view our customers testimonials, blogs, user forums. And in case if you're having any critical issue and you want to just contact us, you can just directly mail to the given email address under the contact us, or in case you can just log a call to us, we'll help you at any time. And under the support information, you can just create the support information file. So uh, in case if the data collection is not happening, or our applications manager is having any issue, so during that time, you can just directly create the SIF support information file and upload it to us for the troubleshooting purpose. Okay, you can just give those your name and the subject of the respective ticket which you have created, and your email ID and the contact number and the ticket ID here. And if you just click on support information, create support information file, it will be created and it will be automatically uploaded to us. And in case if you want to view the logs from the UI itself, you have given this option as well, so that you can just view all the applications manager logs from the UI of here. And in the monitor summary tab, we have given three options here: monitor errors, monitor details, and monitor type details. In the monitor errors, so due to a firewall issue, or due to a data center issue, all the monitors having certain issue. So instead of going to each monitor, you want to have a global view, like what are all the monitors affected, or what are all the monitors having issue. So you can just come to this particular monitor errors page and view all the errors that are that monitors have reported. So you can just select the errors, maybe in case if there is any data collection delay monitors, or in case if there is, if you want to just filter out only the errors, so you can just select those options, and you can just send this particular option to the respective email address. And in the monitor details, you can view all the list of monitors you have been onboarded. For example, in a particular SQL, there will be several second level metrics will be there, like number of databases and the log files or the backups which have been present as an individual attribute on a SQL, right? So those kind of dependent attributes list can be viewed here. And in the monitor type details, it will just show you the monitor count. So for example, in this particular applications manager instance, if I take MS SQL, I have 4 MS SQL monitoring and 38 virtual machine. So you can just have the overall count here and the different MO here as well. So MO is nothing but the monitor object where the child monitors. It will show all the child monitors, like the backup information or the database attributes. So those top attributes will be shown here. And in the database summary tab, so when you just logged in as a default admin user, you can view this query tool, so that in case if you want to execute a query and verify the information, you can directly execute the query from here. Either the select, update, or delete query can be directly executed from the applications manager UI only by the default admin user. And in the database, when you just click on the DB status here, so you can view all the tables that have been used by the applications manager on the applications manager database. So in case if a particular table utilization is high, and if you want to just perform the vacuum reindex, or in case if you want to perform the complete database vacuum for the Postgres database, so instead of connecting to the command prompt and connecting to the database, so we are just given this option in the UI here as well. So you can just select the table, or you can just perform those steps for the complete database. And in the table summary, it will just show you like what are all the top tables where the entry is high, or you can view all the dynamic tables which are created here. So those kind of table information can be viewed under the table summary. And in the DB performance, in case if a query is taking time to execute on the applications manager, for example, you just generate any report and it is taking more time and the query is not getting killed in the backend and it is affecting the performance of the applications manager. So in those cases, the query will be shown here. You can just select that query and kill the query so that the performance will be automatically optimized. In the JVM summary, you can view all the current thread statistics, and you can just generate the thread dump directly from here. And here it will just calculate the CPU for each and every thread that have been initiated in the applications manager. So it will take around 10 to 15 seconds to calculate the CPU percentage for individual thread and it will show it here. And in the thread statistics, you can view the overall thread thread information here. So currently there is no blocked thread. So there are 91 threads which is waiting. So those kind of thread information can be viewed under the thread statistics. And in a monitor count, you can view the overall monitor count for based on its types. And here you can view the under the AM diagnostics, you can view like when the particular app manager started and the average polling interval time, data collection time. So all the major information can be viewed here. And here in the like in case if you want to create in case if the performance is hampering the applications manager, so during that time you can just uh, generate the multiple thread dump directly from here. So you can just click on this thread dump and you can just generate this particular report. Meanwhile, you can just generate this thread dump one and save it in a PDF file and upload it to us. And in the enterprise summary tab, so you can view the table sync details. So in case you are just clicking this option from the admin server, you can just, we have just given the option to select the manage server so that you can verify the table sync details between the admin and the respective manage server. And in the latest version, in case we are just given any customized patch or for any bug fix patch, we are just given to you. So in that case, if you want to view like what are all the custom patches that have been applied on this particular application manager instance, you can just click on the patch details and verify the patch list here. And here in the settings tab, you can view like what are all the values you are just given. So previously we have discussed regarding the server settings, right? So under the database configuration, how many database connection has been given for so this is for the respective managed servers. In case if you are logged in admin, you can just view it for the rest of the managed server on this particular page. So these are all the options which will be available under the support tab, and also you can view the installation information where it will show the host name of the app manager installed machine, the OS type, OS version, database type, and which directory it is installed, and the product start time, the build number, what is the version, what is the Java version, Tomcat is what is the SL port, whether it is a professional edition or the admin server or the managed server, all those installation type can be viewed here, the load factor and the server ID. So this is the managed server one. So the server ID will be one here for me. And if it is an enterprise edition, you can view the admin server URL here. And at the right hand side, you can view the license information. So how many like how many the purchase license count and how many monitors currently used for licensing and how many monitors are currently managed or unmanaged. So those information can be viewed here. And in the JVM memory information, you can view the current heap size and what is like the used size or the what is the free memory available. And in the backend details, you can view the respective backend details here. So currently, I'm using the bundled Postgres database. So here, the host name will be localhost, the Postgres port and Postgres version, and the database name. So from here, under the support tab, you can view all those information. And in the upload file, so in case if you're just giving any custom patch, you can just upload the patch here. Or in case if you are just using the SNMP device monitoring or the global trap action and you want to upload the MIB files to the applications manager, you can just select this option and upload the respective MIB files here. So we have just discussed product settings and the tools. Now we are going to discuss about the alarm or action. So as we discussed in the previous video, so under the alarm alarm action or alarm settings, you can view all the settings that are applicable only for the respective alarm. So in case if you want to increase the consecutive poll count, so instead of triggering an alarm within a one consecutive poll, you want to just wait for another poll and then only you want to raise an alarm. So you can just choose the consecutive poll count here. Or in case you want to just clear the threshold after the business hour, you can just give those options here. Or in case if you want to allow the blacklisted commands to execute on the execute program action, you can just enable or disable here. Or if you want to restrict anything on the SMS, you can just click on this particular SMS so that it will not send the SMS even if the service provider is having any restriction. Or in case in the replaceable tags, you want to just change the format of the data time, you can just select those options here. And in case if the data collection is stopped or if it is back to normal, so for sending the monitor error emails, you can just select this option in case if you want to receive those kind of error emails. So and you can just specify the email address, or else by default it will send to the admin user email which is configured on the user management page. So in case you want to repeatedly execute that action until the monitor is up, you can just enable this option. So likewise, you can just make the necessary changes on the action or alarm settings. And in the actions tab, you can view all the actions that you have created on this applications manager instance. And if you want to perform any test action, whether it is getting executed or not, you can just click on this execute icon in all the respective actions you have created. And in the alarm escalation, so as we already discussed, so in case if a particular production service down for more than 1 hour and your team have not taken any action, so you can just create a rule on this alarm escalation so that you can just escalate the alarms to the higher management. And in the availability settings, you can just, for example, during the downtime scheduler, you want to just show the monitors up instead of down, or if it is scheduled maintenance, you can just enable this option here. And also, if EM agent, that is the end user monitoring agent, goes down, you can just trigger an alarm directly from here. And the same applicable for the real user monitoring as well. And also during the scheduled maintenance, if a monitor is down previously and you want to retain the status, or if you want to show that status as up during that time, you can just clear the health alert during the scheduled maintenance. Or in case if you want to just check the network availability, so based on it, the monitor should go down or up. You can just give those particular options here. And in case you want to check the URL availability, so based on this only, it will just check the other URL and trigger an alarm. So likewise, we are just given the availability settings under the availability settings tab. And in the configure alarms, you can just define or create associate the alarms directly from here. So here we are just given 3 options. In case if you want to configure the alarms for each and every monitor, you can just do it one by one by clicking the monitor. In case you have just created a group and you want to create a group level template, you can just click on monitor group. Or in case you want to create a global level template for each and every monitor type, so you can just click on monitor type, select the respective monitor type and associate the alarm so that it will be applied to all the respective monitor types that have been onboarded on the applications manager. And in the log rules, so in case if you have just enabled the event log monitoring on the Windows server and you want to generate the alarm whenever there is an event that occurred on a target Windows machine, so you can just create a rule here. For example, uh, um, if you know the event ID, so whenever a event is generated on a particular target machine, and the app manager should trigger an alarm. So if you know the event ID, you can just directly give here, or else click on show advanced option here. You can either choose the source or the category or the username, or in case if you know any messages, so you can just like pass those information here using the regex as well, so that if those kind of event is getting triggered on a target machine, the applications manager will be automatically send an alert to the respective team. And in the threshold or anomalies, you can view all the thresholds profile that have been created. And here corresponding to the respective threshold profile, you can see the used by value. You can just click when you just click on that used by value here, it will list down all the monitors to which this particular threshold is being associated. Not only the monitor, it will just show the respective attribute under the monitor type status here as well. So in case if you want to remove from a particular monitor, click on that value. Here is given the remove icon, click it and click on OK. So that particular configuration removed from the respective monitor. And here you can just generate the threshold and actions profile as a CSV information based on the selected application or the monitor group here. And in the trap information, you can create a global trap action here so that it will, whenever even an alert has been raised in the applications manager, it will send those to the third party tool. And in the SNMP trap listener, in case if you want to receive a trap from a particular external third-party application, you can just create a trap listener here and configure the OID and the other information here, so that it will whenever the trap is getting received, it will send it to the necessary email address, whether it is a SMS or the email action. Under the reporting tab, so in the recent versions, you might know, like we have so instead of generating the static reports or the scheduled reports, we have this advanced report where you can just create a report as per your requirement. You can just select the necessary attributes you needed. For example, so here I'm just generating the report for my server, and I want unmanaged percentage, uptime, downtime. I can just add that, and in inventory choose, I want the monitor type, monitor creation time, and I want the polling interval of those monitor, current health, current availability, IP address. So I can just choose those information. And here, if it is a server, I want the OS name. Okay. And now in the group by columns, if you can just select whether you want to just group based on the metric or with ascending or descending, you can just choose that. And the apply criteria, right now, I want the monitor type equals Windows. Okay, I'm just saving this. So currently, so in case if you have the report, so all the unmanaged percentage, uptime percentage, all the information will be fetched under the advanced report here. And in the business R, you can just create a business R and you can associate, so that during that particular business R only, the alert will get raised or the threshold will be associated to the monitors and a trigger based on that. And in the enabled reports, so by default for all the metrics, the report will not be enabled on applications manager, because like due to the database constraints, database size constraint, will like all the attributes will not get be enabled. So you need to select the respective monitor type. For example, in JBoss server, I want to monitor the resources rollback information and generate as a report. You need to, before once you are onboarded the monitor, check the attributes that have been enabled for the reporting. If the required report attribute is not enabled, check that particular attribute and save. So that after the time you selected, for example, at 11 a.m. I'm selecting this particular option. So from now only, the data will get stored. So from 11 a.m. or today, so the data will get generated, and from the tomorrow, if you just check on the yesterday's report, it will just show the data which is generated after the 11 a.m. So likewise, you can just verify and enable the reports here. And in case if you want to manage the SLA, you can just create a SLA here. And the report settings, you can just whether in the attribute report you want to as a bar graph or line graph. So you can just enable those information. And in the dashboard report you want as portrait or the landscape mode, the date format. So all the information will be shown here. And here you can just verify the data retention period. And in the reports, we do have a logo. So in case if you want to change the logo as per your company or organization, you can just change the logo settings here. And here, as we discussed earlier, in case if you want to put the password for your reports, so you can just enable this data protection here. And in the scheduled reports, you can just schedule the reports on a daily basis, weekly basis, or a monthly basis, so that within a given time period, it will generate that report and it will be delivered to you without any manual effort. So in case if you want to verify if the particular report is working or not, once you just created, So you can just click on run now here, so that you can test the scheduled report option here and verify whether the report is generating properly. So under the integration with portal, so here you can view the JSON feed. So instead of XML, you want to just use the JSON, you can just use this option. And in the REST API tab, we have just given our API key for the REST API or the end user monitoring, real user monitoring, so that you can just associate. So to enhance the security purpose, we have just given this key so that it will be mapped with the exact applications manager instance, and it will use the data. And in the world map, so for each and every monitor group, we have just given this world map group view. So in case based on your location, you can just create a view. So in case if you want to just create a view only for your city where the particular data center is available, so you can just select the respective city here, and you can just set the location, add the location here. Here the respective location which you have selected will be available under this map view. And when you just go to the monitor group, so for example, in this particular group, I'm just editing this and I'm just changing this location as I'm just going to this widget. I'm just selecting the respective monitor group. It will just show the exact location which I've just selected for my location. So you can just create these kind of map views based on your data center or the monitor group or the where the particular server is located. You can just create a view like this, add it on this dashboard, so that it will just show the live status. So currently this my monitor group is up and running fine, or if it is under the maintenance, all those information can be viewed on this particular setup. So in case we are having multiple monitor groups and across different locations, this view will be more helpful for the easy view approach. And then under the discovery and data collection, if you want to onboard the monitors, click on this add or discover to add a monitor one by one, or bulk import through CSV file, or you can just discover the monitors by giving the start and the end IP here. And for the APM Insight, if you want to just create a separate profile for each and every monitor application type, you can just create those kind of configuration profiles here. And for credential manager, if you want to just update the credential, create a new credential, so all those operations can be done under this credential settings. In case you want to create a custom monitor type view based on the respective servers, so you can just create the custom monitors under this particular option. And if you just plan for any maintenance, or if you schedule the maintenance, you can just select the monitors and the time, so that on that particular given date and time, the scheduled maintenance will be automatically occurred and the monitors will be added to that. So in case if you are adding the monitor group, so all those details will be shown here. For the individual monitors, it will be viewed under the monitors currently under maintenance. And here under the downtime scheduler settings, so during the downtime, whether you want to show the monitors up instead of downtime schedule or the scheduled maintenance, you can just enable this option or disable this option. And if you want to clear the health alert during the maintenance period, you can just enable this. And in case if the monitor is unmanaged in the previous time before the scheduled maintenance, and you want to just retain the same status, you can just enable this option, unmanaged monitors revert to unmanaged state after the scheduled maintenance. And in case if you want to enable the downtime schedulers for this process on the service monitoring, which is hosted under the server monitors, you can just enable or disable the option here. And uh, so as you might know, like there will be several maintenance activity that will be happening in the every organization, and during every time you'll be creating this particular downtime scheduler. And when you just click on the downtime schedule tab, there will be numerous number of schedule you have created. And here we have just given this option, like whether you want to clean up for the old one. So for example, the expired downtime you need to just clean up for every 20 days. You can just enable this option and give the number of days here, so that automatically the expired or the old downtime schedule will be automatically removed from the applications manager. And for the Azure or the other monitor type, you're just using the OAuth provider. Here, you can just create the OAuth provider here, and you can just map it to the respective monitor during the monitor addition. And in the performance polling tab, you want to just customize the performance of a particular attribute or a particular monitor. You can just select those options individually from here. And in case if you're using the SAML based authentication, so you can just create those options from here. And if you just want to add a template, for example, there is a particular process. For example, let's take a Java process, okay, and you want to monitor in all the Windows Server or all the Linux machine. So what you can do, so instead of adding it one by one to by going into the each monitor and doing that, you can just create this template library so that you can just select or give the respective process details, and you can just select the monitors so that that particular process will be automatically mapped with the respective monitor. And from the next polling interval, all the data collection will be happening for the respective process or the service monitoring here. So this particular template will be applicable for both process and the service template. And in case if you just want to use the web token, you can just use create the web token from this web token option which is given here. So these are all the different user administrator option we like user settings option we have. So you can just drill down to each option and verify the each parameter like what. So whenever you're just going click on any option at the right hand side, same like the add monitor page, we are just given the help card here. So you can just verify the necessary parameters and its function. So in case if it is applicable to you and you want to enable that, then only you need to just enable. So in case if you have any doubt on this, for example, in case any global setting option or the server setting option or the security setting option, in case if you have doubt before you just enable that, just drop an email or make a call to us, or just drop a chat to us. So we'll be helpful and make a give proper suggestion for these kind of settings options that are available in the applications manager. So thank you, everyone. I will just meet you in the next video. Thanks for your time.